Well, hello. This is another episode of My Heart on Pages, and I am your host, Laquita Parks, and I am the CEO and founder of PayProV Publishing. And PayProV is Pain, Progress, Victory, because I believe without pain, there is no progress, and without progress, there can be no victory. So I help people take their stories from a thought to a realization, and I am so excited to have another amazing guest today. My Heart on Pages is all about the story behind the story. You know, everybody has a story. We know that 100% of everybody living and dead has a story, but those stories look different. And I love talking to authors to get the scoop, honey, the why behind their story. So what made you write your book? What was the inspiration? And, you know, sometimes people feel like all stories have to be trauma. All stories don't have to be trauma, but it's real life. Everything that goes on with us is real life. So whatever happens to us, it's not for us to hoard. We can't be hoarders of our stories. So we have to share those stories, and we do so when we publish those stories. So today I have a special guest here, and I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself. And hey, let's just dive into this amazing book. Interesting it is. How you doing this morning?
Hi, I'm Kenyanna. They sing Kenyanna on my book, but a lot of people call me Kenya. And I wrote this book called Six Stages of Grief Relationships.
Okay. So, you know, as I was saying, when I was looking at it, at first, when I saw six stages of grief, because I've been through grief, and we're still, even though things have kind of started to get better, we are still in a pandemic. People are still getting sick. They're still getting COVID. They're still dying from COVID. And so in the midst of it, there's grief. There's been a lot of grief. And so when I saw your book, I saw the cover. And so here it is. You have a beautiful cover with a broken heart on the front of it. I didn't even pay attention to that. It's like I saw it, but when I saw grief, and I attribute it to loss of life. And
Yeah.
and I was like, because it breaks your heart. You know, when your loved one died, it breaks your heart. And then as I started kind of diving into it, I was like, oh, okay, it's different. So I love that your cover doesn't give way to what the book is actually about. And I guess it's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of perspective. So before we get started, I'm going to ask you a question. So tell us where you're from, and what inspired you to write this book.
Well, I am from Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I was born, raised. I spent most of my time in Fort Myers, Florida, but I've been here in Georgia for a lot longer now. And basically in Jonesboro for about 12, 15 years.
You're near me.
Yes.
Okay.
So I've been here for a good minute. I am 23 years old. And I wrote this book because I went through a lot of heartbreak. A lot of heartbreak than I would like to admit concerning all types of relationships, just relationships in general, friendships. My own father passed, my grandmother passed. So I've just experienced the grief process of lots of different relationships. And anytime I would go through that breakup, it's like I'm trying to find something that will help me. But I couldn't find nothing. Like I kind of, you can look up on Google and see like different tips and things that you can do to help you when you're going through a breakup. But it wasn't a book just catered to my grief process that I go through after a breakup. It's like I wrote in my book that, grief is losing someone, but you deal with grief in an everyday basis. It could just be you lost your longtime car that you've had forever today, broke down. That hurts your heart.
Yeah.
Your favorite dog runs away. That hurts your heart, and that's why I decided to write this book, because it's a lot of people out there that are going through those breakups and they're not doing it the right way. They're hopping from one relationship to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, because they're not realizing, okay, I love that person. And it's going to be a lot that comes with loving that person. If we break up, if it's a tear, you feel that tear.
Wow. Did you say you were 23?
Yes.
Girl, that's a lot. That's a lot of relationship wisdom at 23, honey. I remember when I was dating this guy, and we were supposed to get married, and he lived in Augusta, Georgia. And it was this kind of something. And I went down with the whole craziness. He was already married. He was still married. And I was like, what in the world? I mean, we were house shopping the whole nine. And I remember just being heartbroken for that. And my mom, bless her heart, she's dead now, but I remember my mom saying, hey, I want to introduce you to somebody. This was shortly after this breakup with the guy I was supposed to marry. And my mom's idea was the fastest way to get over one is to replace him with another. And we ended up dating this guy my mom introduced me to, and it was a mess. So I call him the monster. And so my mom was like, after I got out of that, it was like, oh, wow, I shouldn't have never been there in the first place. My mom said, I guess you're not going to ever listen to me again. I said, you got that right. not where relationships are concerned. So you are absolutely right. As young people, as not even young people, I'm 53 years old, and there are women that I have friends who still go, still searching for the one and not taking the time to grieve that relationship.
Yes.
So girl, that's a lot of wisdom for 23. Girl, so tell me, so you wrote this book. I love the cover. It's a beautiful cover. I love it. So tell me, how old were you when you got into your first relationship that broke your heart?
I think I was around the age of maybe like 13, 14.
First love?
Yes. Don't get me wrong, treated me very great, but the whole process of my parents didn't want me dating at that age. So when school ended, that means the relationship had to end. So it was it was hard to go through that summer, not being able to see him, and me calling myself being mature and being realistic. I just let him go, because I'm like, I don't want to give you a reason to cheat because I know you're not going to be able to see me. I know you're not going to be able to spend time with me. So I just went on and cut it off. But around that age would be the first.
Yeah, that sounds right. You get into the mom, I love him.
Right.
I love him stage. I remember for 14 years old for me. So you went, that was your first relationship. So at 13, it's difficult to have the capacity to understand that this is heartbreak and I need to heal, because you hadn't even seen heartbreak yet.
Right.
So how old were you with the next relationship?
So the next relationship that hurt was not a relationship. I fell in love with my best friend.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And that was the one that really, really hurt. I still wasn't at the point of like kind of understanding, because I was like 15, 16 years old. So I really still wasn't at the point of understanding like the grief of it. But it took me a year and a half to recover from it.
Okay. So what was it about your best friend that made you fall in love?
The support, that we was just so connected with everything that he could literally just know my thoughts before I was able to say them. The connection, I'll never forget, we connected really weird. We was in chorus room and they were singing a song called I Want to Die Easy When I Die. And he was like, why aren't you singing the song? And I was like, because my grandmother just passed this past weekend. So I'm not trying to sing about dying easy when I die. Right. And he waited until the song was over and then just gave me a big hug. Oh. Like he didn't even know me. That was our first encounter, but he just gave me a big hug. And that's when I knew like his heart was so pure. And then from then on, we were best friends for years and years and years. But it didn't end well. I talk about him in the book, in the acceptance chapter, when I talk about those acceptance levels that you have to go through, because he recently just got married. And I didn't realize why I was feeling some type of way. I'm like, it's been that many years. Why does it make me feel some type of way that he is getting married? And that's when I realized that acceptance comes into stages. It's not to say that you still have feelings for him or that you're still in love with him. It's because you once loved that person. You're still going to feel something each time until that person dies. When that person dies, it's still going to hurt your heart. It doesn't go away because you love that person.
That's right. So let me ask you a question. So did he know how you felt about him?
Yes, we had what they call now, they have a title for it now. We called it friends and with feelings, but they call it now situationships.
Oh, really? Oh, situationships. Okay. It used to be. Now, were you guys ever, and you know, this is, we just asking real questions. Okay. So were you guys ever intimate?
No.
Okay. Because you know, sometimes friends, there are friends and you spend so much time together and then you become close. And then there are friends and you cross the line and it alters the shape of the relationship.
Yes.
But I totally understand. It's really easy, especially with best friends, with male best friends. It is easy, especially when you know each other so well and you care about each other. And sometimes it just seems like, okay, you know, it just seems right. Right. And then, you know, you go on and you catch those. It's, you know, that's the word they say, catch. I caught feelings. I messed around and caught feelings. How do you not catch feelings? And I think the only way that you avoid catching feelings is you close off your heart. You have to put things into perspective, but you close off your heart with that. So did he not feel the same way you felt about him?
He did. Real talk, right?
Yes, real talk, honey.
So he ended up getting a girlfriend, and because, like I said, my parents wouldn't allow me to date, but little did he know, my father was like, I might let you date this one. You know, I'm on the verge, you know, because he was coming to the church. I'm a preacher skip. He was coming to the church, interacting with the church, singing on the praise team, the dance team, all this stuff. So my dad was like, yeah, he good people. He good people, literally on the verge. And then he got a girlfriend.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So in the midst of him, you know, dating somebody else, I started talking to somebody else. And that's when I actually ended up losing my virginity. And we got into an argument for 2.5 days just over that. And that was kind of like the end.
He was angry? He was upset with you?
Yes, okay. Very much.
But he got a girlfriend.
That's what I always said. But yes, he's
so
very...
it seems like he did feel some kind of way about you, but it's like you were supposed to wait for him or something. Yeah, that's a hard one. That's a hard one. And you know what? And that's when you catch feelings, and that's why I understand as a parent too. I have 3 adult children. I understand from the standpoint of a parent that you want to protect, and so one of the things with the physical and the intimacy, you want to protect that essence. So you want to protect that. So I can see that very clearly, because with my children, I was, you know, I wasn't as open in conversation with them as I thought I was. Right. They were like, you never talked to us about sex. You didn't have to talk with us. And I was like, it was like, no, grandma did. And I was like, okay, well, I thought I did, but they was like, well, you were kind of like, no, I don't want to talk about that. And I didn't realize I was that way, but that's what they got. So, oh wow. So did you guys ever make up to the point where you were able to regain that friendship?
Nope. I actually was not even invited to the wedding.
Wow.
Yes, which everybody found shocking. Like, I had people calling me, texting me like, what do you mean you're not going to be at the wedding? Like, and I'm just like, nope, I was not invited.
Now, did you feel like did you feel like that was him, or it had something to do with her? Did you ever meet her?
Actually, she is one of my close friends that I had in high school.
So the plot thickens. Okay. So we have our answer. We have our MC.
Yes.
So that's why you were not invited to the wedding. Okay. Because you know what? Sometimes there's immaturity and people can't get past that. Okay. You know what? This is what it is. So
right.
Wow. All right. Well, let's move on. Let's move on. So after that, so what was the next relationship that you, because girl, you 23 and you've seen some things, you've gone through some heartache that a lot of people haven't gone through yet.
Yes.
At 23 years old, girl, you know, and I know you heard it from you young enough to be my baby, to be my child.
I am.
You know, my youngest child is 27. No, she's 28. She just turned 28 in September. So you my little daughter, girl.
Yes.
So tell me what was the next heartache?
So I had relationships in between then that, you know, they hurt. But the one that hit the most and the one that inspired me to write this book is from a longtime family friend that I've known since I was 2 years old.
Ooh.
I had a crush on him forever. But because of the age difference, I never thought that, you know, he would have any type of interest in me. And he came to put my dresser together one night, and he kept, you know that look.
Mm-hmm. What was the age? Yeah. What was the age? What was the age difference?
I want to say maybe about 5 years.
Okay. Because yes. I was gonna say if you said 12 or 15, I was
no.
side eye like, wait a minute, come on now.
No,
what's going on?
That,
Where
that
he
much.
at? Where he at? But okay, he was 5 years older. Okay.
Yeah, so he came over to fix my dress one night. He kept giving me that look, and then he was like, "We should go out for pancakes." And I'm like, "It's 12 o'clock at night. I'm not going out for pancakes. I'm trying to go to sleep."
Yeah.
So after that, he just kept like randomly texting me like, "Hey, how's your day going? Blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Am I tripping? Like, am I really tripping right now?" So he came over to do our family photo shoot, our family Christmas photo shoot. And he's a great photographer if y'all want to get him. Great photographer, great with home decor, work, all that.
Yes, hang around after this recording so I can get that.
Yes. He does a great job, gets it done within a good time period, all of it. So he came over to do our Christmas photos. And while I was sitting there doing my niece's hair, my niece asked me about my ex at the time. Mm-hmm. She's like, "Why is Tim not here?" And I'm just like, let's have a talk. So he's sitting there smirking and laughing, and I'm just like, okay. So finally, we go out to get some slushie because I just had a craving for a slushie. I don't know why. He was like, "I'll drive you." And I'm just sitting there babbling on like, "Do you like me or do you not like me? I don't understand. You giving mixed signals, blah, 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 blah." We get to a red light and he just kisses me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So from then we started talking, you know, we started hanging out. And then I found out that I was pregnant. I found out I was pregnant. I did end up having an abortion. The pregnancy was not safe. I was surviving off of milk for 7 weeks. So either I wasn't going to make it or the baby wasn't going to make it. And I already have a child here. So I had to make it. I had to make it for my baby. So I ended up having an abortion, and that kind of tore our relationship because he was like, "It's not my baby, but I'm gonna be there for you." Like, we came up with a name, Cadence if it was a girl, Caden if it was a boy, you know, all this stuff. But I was just like, I can't risk not making it full term or not making it to still be here to take care of my child. So I guess it kind of rubbed him the wrong way or whatever. So he started, I say, ghosting me. Weeks had went by without him saying anything, but we were intimate. So it's like I had that soul tie. I kept trying to figure out, like, I'm talking to other people, I'm being intimate with other people, and I still could not get him out of my head. So it wasn't until I went on a trip to Hawaii to see one of my best friends who is also in the book because we're not friends anymore.
Oh, wow.
But I couldn't wait. When I went down there to see him, it was a bunch of girls that was around and we was all sitting there talking. They was like, "Sounds like you got a soul tie." So I started paying attention this time because this was 2 years ago. So now I'm wise. I know what's going on. I know what feelings I'm feeling. I've been through enough relationships to know like this is what I'm feeling, that I'm gonna go through these next steps to get over this relationship.
So before you continue, for the people who are listening and may not understand what that means, explain what soul ties are.
So from what I was told, because I don't have an actual definition, but from what I was told, in that intimate moment when you connect eye to eye and you just basically looking into each other's soul, that is how that soul tie is created. And you don't want that. It's so hard to break.
So let me tell you what the Google.
Okay.
The definition, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. A soul tie is an intense spiritual connection between two people that results in a mutual learning experience. Now, this is what the definition from brides.com says. And so it says, what causes, in many cases, it is said to come into existence after two people have been physically intimate. In others, it is said to form after an intensely close spiritual or emotional relationship. So for soul ties, it has to do, because it has to do with your essence, connecting your essence with somebody else's essence. And you're a preacher's kid, so you know that the Bible speaks about the intimacy being saved for your life mate.
Yes.
So you're not supposed to connect with this person. So what happens is you're connecting with somebody, and those ties start because you're connecting not only with that person, but you're connecting with everybody they've connected with, and everybody he's connected with everybody and it's just all these ties. It's just intertwined. And my soul is connected with somebody else's soul, who's connected with somebody else's soul. So if I'm connected with a person who has slept with, 50 people, my soul ties are connected with those 50 people. And you're right, it's very difficult to break, because that's why you get into a relationship with somebody else and you're still connected with that other person. And so the only way to not get into a soul tie is that you avoid that unless you're with your life mate. And when you and that's where, and I like the fact that you've written this book, because that's where you have to take time to cleanse this. I'm working on a book for a friend called Rainbow of Sexuality. And it's almost talking about soul ties, because it's talking about the rainbow, because it's the essence. So if you imagine a rainbow, and there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Okay, so your essence is that pot of gold. But when you're here and you're there, and girl, I can talk about this all day long, because I'm there with you, because when you learn better, you do better, because you can be connected to people and you can still think about them years later and still get connected. And that's how people end up not being together for a long time and then see each other and then fall back into that same pattern. It's girl, it's a lot. So I just wanted to do a break in that. So for those of you who are listening and who will catch the replay, or who will listen to this later, think about that. Get Kenya's book, because talking about relationships, it is important to give yourself time to grieve. And I'm gonna let you finish, but I remember when I went through my divorce, and my girlfriends was like, oh, I was thinking, oh, when this is over, when I go through this, I'm gonna celebrate. I see all these people having divorce parties. I'm gonna do all that. I've been divorced now for 20 years. Almost 25 years, and I am yet to have that party, because you have to give yourself a chance to grieve those relationships, and during that time you find you. So thank you for sharing that soul ties. So so you went to Hawaii, and your friend was like, okay, hey, this is some soul ties. So what happened next?
So after that, I came back and I just kind of started, like you said, I started working on myself, started going through the grief process step by step by step, because I have already went through, I was in denial. That's where I was. I was in it. And now I'm like, no, he loves me. He told me he loves me. Like, we connected, blah, blah, blah. And it was just so weird because, like I said, he is great at what he does. So I still called him for everything. Mm-hmm. I need the children's bunk bed put together. I need my TV mounted. I'm still going to call you for everything because you're great at what you do. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so I never had an issue. So anytime he would come over, I'm always getting that look. Mm-hmm. Or I would sit there and might be trying to have a conversation with him, and then we'll take 2 steps forward and 5 steps backward. Mm-hmm. So it just got to the point where I just said, enough is enough. Mm-hmm. I'm not in denial anymore. Now I'm angry. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm angry. Now I'm questioning everything. Now I wrote, because I didn't put nothing in the book that I haven't done. Mm-hmm. All the tools and stuff that I put in the book is all things that I have done to work through my grief process as far as my relationships. Because when I started grieving him, I realized I didn't grieve them. That hurt right there. That hurt over here. So it became a whole process of really trying to completely just grieve everybody. And in that process, I got to know myself. Okay. I got to learn myself. After my dad died, I was daddy's girl. I did whatever my dad wanted me to do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I never had my own personal identity. Mm-hmm. So in that time of me going through the grief process, going through the steps, I got to the point where I knew who I was. And that is what I strongly suggest before you get into any relationship. Know who you are. Because if you know who you are, then that person can't tell you who you are. Mm-hmm. Because you're going to look at them and say, no, I'm this. So if they look at you and say, you're dumb, you can't do this, you can't do that. You say, no, I'm not. I did this, that. I'm smart here, I'm smart there. You have a comeback to say, no, you have belief in yourself to say, no, what you're saying is not true, which then gives you the confidence to get out of that situation. See, I like that. I like that. And in your book, you list the different stages. And those are still and I think you said those stages when you're grieving a relationship is like you're grieving a death. Because yes, there are stages to death, and there are stages to grief. And one of the things that I know for sure, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, unfortunately, I know personally that as you go through some days, those stages may change. You may be in stage 2 today, and you may be okay, and you may have gotten all the way to stage 5. And then there's something that might trigger a thought, trigger a memory, and you might find yourself feeling like simple. You're back in stage 1 again. So that's so important. I absolutely appreciate what you said when learn you first. And that's the problem with relationships. A lot of times we get into relationships and the relationship is over. And like my mama said, y'all, the fastest way to replace one with that's not, no. Mama was wrong. Okay. No. My mama was wrong. And if your mama telling you that, your mama wrong too, okay? Mama is wrong. That they wrong. And Kenya said they wrong too. That is not the fastest way to get over one. You cannot. They said, I heard somebody say, and I don't drink, but I heard somebody say, when you have a hangover, go back to the hair of the dog that bit you. So you go back and like, no way. So this is real life. We can't do that. So as you went through, as you were going through, what was the time? Because, we want things done quick. So people are like, okay, well, I gotta, it's, in 2 days I'm done, and then I can move on to the next one. What's the time frame? How long did it take you to get to what I'm gonna call your period of acceptance? And you're like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna accept that this is this, and I need to work on myself. And so, how long did it take for your breakthrough to come? Okay, so it's a 2-part. The first part is, so he comes and takes pictures. We have a program called Learning Spaces for ages 0 to 5. And during that time, during Christmas time, is when we have pictures with Santa. We have free pictures with Santa. Parents can come, they get their picture right then. So free pictures with Santa, and we have like donuts and stuff. So he comes to take the pictures. We hire him every year. So last year, had been a whole year since everything went down. Last year, I'm sitting there, we're flirting a little bit, all of this, and I tell him about my book. He tells me how our relationship was only for 3 days. And it was not.
What did he get? I know they got new math now, but where did he get his math?
I have no idea, but when he said that, I was like, And then, they was playing the song Last Christmas. So I said, listen, it's our song, listen. And so when the song went off, I came back to him. I said, so what'd you think? He said, I didn't give it away the next day. I gave it away 3 days later.
So his perception. So how long were you guys together?
We was together for a good couple of months.
And he said,
for a good couple of months.
But you knew him for years.
Back and forth. Yes, I've known him since I was 2 years old.
Wow.
His dad and my dad were literally best friends. Mm-hmm. So in a way, like, we saw each other here and there, just growing up, just continuously growing up. So I've known him for that long period of time. So this year, when it came time, I have been past it. I'm in my own relationship now. We're about to make it a year. So it's going really great. But I went with the inkling to like get him back. I'm like, I'm finna just rub my whole relationship in your face, all the rest of this stuff. And it clicked then that I finally got closure this past Christmas. Mm-hmm. This past Christmas when we did the pictures, because last year is when I got that, okay, I'm done with you. I'm not even going to be bothered. I hadn't even talking to him. Mm-hmm. Till Christmas time when he came to take the pictures. So during that time, because it's like a 4-day period, we have a different library each day. So during that time, it's 4-day period that we're seeing each other each day. So it was during that time where I finally got the closure, because I was telling him about, my relationship, and he seemed hurt. Mm-hmm. It might have just been me, but he did seem hurt. I don't think that he didn't want to be with me. Mm-hmm. I just think that he wasn't at a place where he could. Or he could like give me what I wanted in the relationship. So instead of trying, he just left it alone. Because it was the simple things, like he told my son, mommy used to be in love with me, now mommy's in love with somebody else. I'm just like, why would you say that?
Right. That's not right. And that's not his son. It's
just like the slick little comments that he was making to the last day. I just asked him, I was like, do you still have feelings for me? And he was like, no, you're in a relationship. So to say, yeah, I did, but now I see how happy you are, so I'm going to let you be. Because I just needed closure for myself to just not be worried or pressed about it. The same thing for my best friend that I was telling you about. I had to face him this past Christmas time as well, because his mom is one of my closest friends, one of my best friends. Mm-hmm. That's why I can never be mad for that friendship or none of that, because I got his mom out of it. She has literally stuck by my side since I came into her life. Mm-hmm. Been there for me through thick and thin. So they finally had a birthday party for her, and we went. And I hadn't seen him in 5 years. Mm-hmm. That was the last time I saw him, when I told him that I was pregnant. That was the last time that I saw him.
Now, was this is the best friend, or this was the second? This was
the first best friend.
The first best friend, okay.
Yes, okay. The heartbreak.
Okay.
So, but yes, so that was interesting and hard. And it was hard to face both of them within a month's time. But that is when, you go back into the stage of the acceptance. I had to get to that acceptance point with the both of them, because even when I saw him, it wasn't bad vibes. It wasn't none of that. His wife was there. It wasn't bad vibes with her either. It was nice to have that closure.
Yeah.
So some people, but I'm going to tell you, like I tell them in the book, sometimes you won't get closure, and that's
right.
Okay.
That's right.
That's why you got to have that closure within yourself, because I wrote in the book that you might want to send them a bunch of text messages. You might want to write them a bunch of letters. Write it, don't send it.
Yeah, I'm a proponent of writing. Write it out, read it, write it, do a journal, and go and have a barbecue with your papers.
Right.
Burn those papers. Well, you know what? Tell people how they can get your book. Where can they purchase your book?
So for right now, you can purchase the ebook on Amazon. If you go to like the actual Amazon website, not the app yet, I'm not sure why that is. But if you go to the actual Amazon website, then you can type in 6 Days of Grief Relationships and it will pop up, and then you can get it as an ebook. On April 8th, I will be releasing the actual copy. It will be an extended edition. It won't be the same as the one that you can purchase on Amazon. It will be an extended edition because I want to add more in there and add more about dealing with the relationships of those that's gone on as well.
Okay, awesome.
So I want to have a good mixture in there. So this will be the extended edition, and on April 8th, I will be having my book signing.
Awesome.
So,
where are you having it? Is it going to be virtual, or where are you going to have it at?
I'm not sure the location yet. That's what I was just about to say. You all can look me up on Facebook under my name, Kenyanna Carter, and all updates will be on there.
Awesome. Well, you know what, Kenyatta, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. I absolutely love your energy, and I am so proud of you. You are very young, and you know what, and you have such a sense of maturity, and I applaud you for sharing. There's a book, it's written by Dr. Velma Bagby. She's one of my friends on Facebook. She's written a book called she has a series called The Catch No One Wanted. And it's all about relationships and keeping yourself, working on yourself. We go from one relationship to another, but she has used an analogy of different fish to describe these different men that should be avoided. So, you should probably consider that book, getting a book. And you live so close, girl. We need to get together. You live so close.
Of course.
I'm in Riverdale.
I see the publishing in the back. I got a lot more books. This is an entire series called The Remedy for the Hanging Hearts. It's an entire series. So I got a lot more to put out there.
Yes, we need to talk. But listen, guys, reach out to her, connect with her, follow her on Facebook so you can see what's going on for her book launch, and just follow her and support. Because what we said before, 100% of everybody living and dead has a story. There is someone waiting on the other end of your story so that they can get healing from their story. So don't be a hoarder of your story. And listen, if there's anything I can do to help you take your story from a thought to a realization, reach out to me at payprovi.com, payprovipublishing.com, PAPROVI publishing.com. And we help you no matter where you are in your story writing journey. So if you've started writing a story, but you have a thought and say, okay, you know what, Laquita, I don't know how to start, we can help you get started. If you've started writing and you find yourself stuck, we can help you get unstuck. And if you have already written your story and you're ready to publish it, send it to us. We'll give you written feedback and we'll let you know if it's ready to be published. And if it is, we can do that too. So listen, share your story. Share your story. Be one of those 500 million people to take the step to write your story and publish your story. All right. So with that, thank you so much, Kenya. It has been a plump, pleasing pleasure. Better than a triple-decker peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Until the next time, we will see you soon with My Heart on Pages. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Bye.